Second part. It was an hour later that the whole group set out. Once they'd partaken of some of the emergency rations the refuge was stocked with for humans, it only took 30 seconds to pack up the refuge. On seeing how the structure folded up into something the size of a slim music player with one press of a switch, Cray whistled. That was a hell of a thing for him to make. Were the nobles into mountain climbing in the snow, too? You know, because it was there. I bet they enjoyed skiing in winter. Clutching his belly, Cray laughed. What do you think, Dee? Picture it. Pretty boys with fangs and black capes and women in evening dresses getting in a little night skiing. Laugh it up, come on, give us a smile. Naturally, Dee didn't reply. He just walked on ahead of the rest. Hey, wait up. Lilia was about to chase after him when a hand reached for her shoulder, but the woman's form spreaded forward as if driven by a gust of air. Cray was grinning. That was probably par for the course with him. A long time ago, I went to this island nation that had half sunk into the sea. They had this weird phenomenon, kind of mirage they called the fleeing water. Just when you were about to touch it, it'd be off in the distance again. You're the fleeing woman. In that case, try touching me, Lilia said, twisting her body provocatively. Maybe when you're a little more my type, he replied. That reminds me, is Dee alive? What? Lilia looked at the outlaw as if he'd lost his mind, and then a spiteful look rose on her face. Then she replied, Only half, I suppose. That explains it. Explains what? Cray tossed his chin in the direction of the snow. Pretty as a picture, not a track on it. And there was no reply. And those behind him, the doctor and her protector with the burdensome boy, also looked down at the pristine snow, and then turned their eyes toward Dee with unsettled looks on their faces. Did the sunlight of this fair day wish to conspire with him? Or was it that the endless silvery expanse would expel him, eternally cursed as he was? Whatever the case, no trace of the figure in black could be seen any longer. Hey! The shout was in a man's voice. Dee halted, started to turn around, and then halted again. What is it? Asked the hoarse voice from the vicinity of his left hand. If I turn around, my head will fly. What? I'm walking on the course. The course? Damn! I didn't know that was there. You've got to get off to one side. It's no use. Once you're on this route, you could walk forever. We've got to somehow find the exit. I hadn't even noticed. When in the blazes did we? You're useless, Dee said, his tone colder than ice and snow. Shit. The cold air has dulled my senses. What do? All we can do is go on. Is their sword faster than yours? It should be close. But if my head were cut off, I'd need to be brought back to life. Could you manage that? The hoarse voice hesitated. What came next was a distressed groan. To be honest, my eyelids are feeling pretty heavy. I'd appreciate it if you could pull through this on your own. Useless. Dee's tone was cold, but there was no blame in it. Even without his left hand and the hoarse voice, the young man could go on it alone. However, the path passed by a rocky ridge. Would lead to death before you reached it. What'll you do? The hoarse voice asked, even hoarser than usual. Dee walked on without replying. Features gorgeous enough to shame the white snow showed no change, nor did his stride alter. It was only 3 more yards to the ridge. 2 yards. 1. Now, just a few more. The wind whistled behind him. The sound raced towards Dee's neck. A flash of light met it. Fresh blood sailed into the air, tinging the snow. Dee's blood. He pressed his left hand to the right side of his neck, and blood poured from his wrist. And from there it sailed up into the air, scattering red spots 6 or 7 feet ahead of him. And the gleam returned to Dee's hand, a dazzling sword blade. Down on the snow, groans of pain rang out. If they'd known they'd issued from the hunter's severed left hand, whoever was behind him would have lost their nerve. Dee moved swiftly, pressing the stump at the end of his arm to the wrist where it stuck out of the snow. He raised the limb. All 5 fingers worked normally. He then pressed it to the wound on his neck. Although Dee had brought his left hand up to shield his neck, the blade of his unseen foe had still cut him. But the lifeblood spouting from it stopped dead. His left hand came away. Only a thin red line remained there.
"You did?"
exclaimed the hoarse voice from his left hand.
"You wiped it out without ever seeing it or knowing what it was. It's stuff like this that makes me not want to be around you in the mountains. At sea. Or anywhere.
Still,
it was a hell of a mountain beast to be a match for you in speed. And the way you closed on it like you didn't give a..."
The voice petered out. Quickly, its tone became angry.
"I don't care how badly you wanted to keep your head from getting lopped off. You're an idiot for using me as a shield. Thanks to you, I'm in a world of pain. Hey, where are you going?"
Dee had begun walking back across the snow the way he'd come. It wasn't destroyed.
"What?"
I cut it in a vital spot, but it'll take a moment for it to succumb to the wound. That moment is the problem.
No, you can't be serious. They're coming.
Dee was walking right toward them. He hadn't been walking for 5 minutes when 5 figures came into view on the snowfield before him. Even the boy was walking again. "Can you sense its presence?" asked Dee.
Nope.
At that frank reply, Dee quickened his pace.
"Oh,"
the hoarse voice exclaimed, sounding both surprised and impressed. Though Cray and Lilia looked for all the world to be casually ambling along, they'd leapt to either side in unison. An instant later, they had knife and longsword in hand. No one had even seen them draw. Their movements were like a jump in a spliced piece of film, but something unseen sent a cry of pain into the air.
"They did it."
The left hand groaned from the vicinity of Dee's waist.
"Seems you're not the only one here good enough to lay into something that can't be seen or sensed. And there's 2 of them at that."
"Hey, did you see that, stud?" Cray called out, hand cupped beside his mouth. And the group came running over. And the boy was at the fore. "You must have seen that just now, right? One jab of my knife."
"Oh my, that was nice work,"
the left hand replied.
But the deity over here apparently begs to differ.
Alone, Lilia walked over magnanimously, but when she finally joined them, she glared at Cray. I'm sure you aren't claiming all the credit, or are you? You're a fine one to be making claims to the contrary. It was my knife that did the trick. You know, kid, that thing was going for you. And your good buddy Cray saved your bacon. I hope you appreciate that. How would the kid know? You're the lowest of the low, stacking one lie on top of the next. Scum. Oh, you've got some nerve saying that. You're trying to tell me it was that little trinket of yours that saved the kid? Well, it was faster than that butter knife of yours, at least. Perfect. Cray grinned, taking his left hand off Louis's head. I haven't liked you from the get-go. I'll show you what a woman's place is. Oh, that sounds like a fun proposal. I was just thinking how a certain talentless, brainless man needed to learn his place. The huntress and the outlaw, two people who could never have been expected to understand each other, were enveloped in the air that suited them best, the lust for blood. Louis was frozen in his tracks, but the doctor wrapped her arms around him from behind. The wind that blustered by carried the chill of the ice fields. Even colder than that was the murderous intent that seemed to freeze even the form of the hunter of unearthly beauty. Second part, end.